Hey guys, how you going? Welcome back to another edition of the Trademark Sports Podcast. Today we're going to have a chat about teams finished between 9th and 12th last season. Have a little run over the trials from last week, as well as answer some of your guys' questions that you asked us to see, get our answers for that one. But before we get into today's episode, we have an ad to read. Yes, the boys have been sponsored. So
sold out.
That's it. So basically, Bluebet, right, has stumped up $200 for you guys to get involved in a tipping comp against us. It's a winner-takes-all competition. And remember, guys, if you're going to have a punt this season, do it with Bluebet, the True Blue Aussie betting company, and again, responsibly. So all you got to do is head over to ESPN Footy Tips. So it's like a really easy app to use. Go over there, click the trademark, search Trademark Sports Tipping Competition, join in there, and then you are in the running to win $200 if you beat us, which you won't. But look, if you do, you come over top. Cheeky $200. You know, it's equivalent to 13 zinger boxes.
Oh, how's the statistic on that?
Yeah.
Hell.
Look,
that's done his research.
That's the currency that I use. How many zinger boxes is something worth? So
you should be a tradie.
Yeah. No, not cut out for that work. So let's get straight into it. So trials last week, being back was super good. And good thing about the first week of trials, you sort of get to see players that you don't really know about just yet, aren't really household names. So do you just want to run over some players that you watched last week and were impressed by?
First of all, I'm good. Thank you for asking. All right. Now,
yeah, same.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're normally the one who does the introduction. I was just waiting to, But anyway, I digress. I had a couple of players who impressed me. Young Daniel Atkinson, who played for the Sharkies. That little grubber in Regatta was, a really good solo try, even though it was against my Knights. He impressed me. Young Trey Stewart from the Dragons. He was he looked very good with the ball in his hand. He had a few errors in his game at the back of the field, but I think his positives far outweighed any negatives that could be taken away.
I think just to jump in there about those knock-ons, it was sort of like it was just his positioning more so that got him into trouble there. And I think like Jason Nightingale works with the outside backs there, and he was one of the best blokes that I've seen for the Dragons, at least under the high ball. So I think that'll get wiped out pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. And there were a lot of young blokes who played for the Dragons. Excited to see the Couchman boys. Dylan Egan, Connor Mulhausen. Yeah, there were a lot of young blokes, and it was really good to see. So many young blokes coming through. Josh Corrick as well. Killed it.
Poor bloke did his ACL.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
I know, Devo.
I didn't know that.
What? No, Devo.
In a trial. That's devastating.
This is like his year to break out into the team, and he did his ACL.
He would have too. I remember playing against him in the under 18s.
Oh, yeah. How hard is he to tackle?
I seen this big, massive bloke coming at me. I thought, shit, how am I going to tackle this bloke? I've set myself there thinking, righto, I think I'll be able to get him. Got stuck in the mud, waiting for him to run over the top of me. He's just gone bang, step, and just around me. He's such a good player, man.
Yeah, I remember taking a scoot at dummy half, probably the one run I took all game, and he was at marker, and I was just trying to do a little stutter step. As soon as I did that, he just shoulders straight into my ribs, drove me back about 10 meters. And I went, yeah, beauty, he could tackle, mate. Fuck me.
No,
good player.
Really good. Yeah. So obviously not the result the Dragons wanted, but I think they got a lot out of it. Blooding some young fellas against some grown men.
Yeah, exactly. I think some players for me that impressed me in the trials, Luke Metcalf. I think every single year I watch him play in the trials, he kills it. Just can't seem to get a crack at consistent first grade footy. There's also a guy that you'll appreciate as well. Jack Bostock has really been impressing me up at the Dolphins.
I was just about to bring him up. Yeah, he's done a lot more than even I thought he would. And I always expected him to do big things. Guru's giving him a rap. Lots of blokes rapping him. But
I wouldn't be surprised if he makes the round one team, to be honest. If he plays good again, because he made the wing for the first grade trial basically this weekend. Yeah. If he plays, if he impresses again, I wouldn't be surprised if he's there against the Chookies round one.
Yeah, well, it's his jersey to lose at the moment, isn't it?
Mm.
So, hopefully he does well. And it's Bostock. And I keep calling him Bostock.
Yeah.
Does my head in.
I know, right? It's like the
Yeah.
whitest name, and they can't even get it right. Like the Polynesian boys, you can sort of excuse, but look,
Yeah.
Bostock, come on.
You can record them for you can understand them for not being able to say Fasua Mala'awi, but
Mm.
Bostock. Come on, boys.
The last guy I wanted to sort of touch on before we move into some team previews is that
Mm-hmm.
Sua Logo for Storm. I was blown away by him, mate. Like I never even heard of him when he come in. Like I think straight up, if Pappenhausen, he's meant to be missing 6 to 8 rounds, give that bloke a run. He was unreal.
Yeah, I didn't get to see too much of that game, so
He
I
came off.
can't
He came off with
really
20 minutes
comment.
to go, and he'd already made 235 run meters in a trial game.
Yeah, what did he play? Fullback?
Played fullback. He like go and watch the highlights of that game if you haven't seen it. Like it, he looked the goods.
Yeah, right. All right, I'd love to go and do that. Yeah, well, if you say so, you've normally got an eye for those things. So
Yeah,
please
like, he
listen to him.
was. He was unreal. So right, we'll get into our team previews now. First off, the first team we're going to talk about, very hype team. They're a much improved squad, the Doggies. So let's go over their gains. There's some pretty good names here. Viliama Kikau, Reed Marnie. Don't know if you've heard of those two. Franklin Pele, Hayes Perham, and Jacob Preston, who is another bloke I was impressed with in the trials. Their losses, Corey Allen, Jack Hetherington's going to your boys, Josh Jackson, Jerry Marshall King, Aaron Shop, and Paul Vaughan are the main ones. So what do you think about the Doggies for this year?
The Doggies, they really excite me this year. They had a lot of good games sort of before last season, and now a lot of good games here, especially under the guidance of Gus Gould.
Mm.
They really excite me, and I think they can do, if they live up to their potential, I think they can do some real big things in the comp this year. I think they're going to miss Josh Jackson. I know he wasn't setting the world on fire, but I
Just
think
that leadership.
yeah, but I think he's got a job with the club, doesn't he? He's still going to be around the
I
boys.
think he's coaching the boys, yeah.
Yeah,
Some sort of player advisor role.
That's good. I always loved him when I was a kid, and he's one of them blokes that I love. Someone who doesn't do anything fancy, just does their job and does it freaking hard and tough and well. So
that's it. Underrated career overall, I reckon.
Yeah, should have played more Origin than he did.
Yeah. I don't know if you caught much of their trial on the weekend, but the first half, they looked unreal. I was like, look, Doggies fans, they got reason to be hyped. Like, they could honestly make the 8. Like, if obviously it's a trial against Raiders reserve grade, but like, if they play to their potential and there's other clubs around that don't play as good as they should, like, I could actually see the Dogs making the finals this year.
I can certainly see them making the finals. I've even seen a few blokes, different blokes in the media talking about, they're smoky to be in the grand final.
I don't know about that, chat.
I don't know about that either, but I can definitely see him making the top 8.
But hey, if the Cowboys went from 15th to a prelim, who's to say the Doggies can't?
100%. Like the Cowboys surprised everyone last year. I had them. I picked my ladder at the start of the year last year, and I had them dead motherless last, and I had daylight between them and the next one.
Exactly. But, I think everyone did, to be honest.
Yeah, they found something. So who's to say the Bulldogs can't? Let's hope the hype doesn't get to them. They don't choke, because a lot of people are talking them up. Let's hope they can just go out there, play their best footy, and have a really good season.
I think as well, they looked good in the trial, and then the names have got to add into that team. So Marnie looked really good, but Matt Burton, Addo Carr, kick out, Tavita Pangai Jr., who looks super fit. Add those guys in. They're a scary team. They got struck all over the field, which is something you haven't been able to say about the Dogs the last couple of years.
Yeah, I saw a post online before where Tavita Pangai Jr. was talking about how his goal this year was to crack the State of Origin side. And so if he's striving towards that, hopefully he's training hard, and hopefully he has a really good season.
Yeah. And when I hear stuff like that, guys, we're not saying he's going to make Origin, but I'd probably have him as a smoky, but it's sort of him and Jack Bird's come out and said that as well. It's not to do, not to say they're going to, but having that attitude and giving them the drive and stuff. It's they're more likely to come out and play good footy because they've got a goal. They've got something that they're trying to achieve and work towards. And Origin's no mean feat, obviously. It's the pinnacle of our game. So if they're trying to be become the best version of themselves, and he's got guys there now like Serrato and stuff's going to be able to help him, I think he's in for a huge year. I think we're going to see the best of him this year.
That's a scary thought for the opposition.
Oh yeah. So that's what one thing though, with Serrato that I want to sort of talk about. There's from everything I've seen, like the Doggies media team is unreal. Like their YouTube and stuff. Like if you're a Doggies fan, you need to check it out. Like I'm sitting there getting excited to watch them play, and I'm not even a Dogs fan. But Cameron Serraldo, he looks like he's doing everything right. In terms of like head coaching, I wonder how he will go and fare in assimilating to that role. That's just probably like the one question mark I have. Like, and how they're going to gel with such roster turnover. That's the only thing I'm really concerned about with the Dogs.
Yeah, I guess it depends from coach to coach. Some coaches can go from assistant coaches into head coaches really seamlessly and really well. Take Craig Fitzgibbon, for example.
Who just signed a new
Last year with
contract?
last year with the Sharks, he come into a similar situation, a team that had just had a lot of turnover, had signed a lot of blokes. He come in there and obviously took them to a really good spot. And then you get other blokes sort of like Adam O'Brien at the Knights who come from being assistant coaches and don't really, Trent Barrett last with the Bulldogs. So it's hard to tell. Only time will tell, and we won't know until they've played a few games, and then we'll be able to make a decision, I'd say.
Yeah, that's it. You raised a good point about like Fitzgibbon. Someone I just forgot about that went straight from like assistant coaching to like head coaching and did well. I think he's sort of in the same mold. Another very sought after coach, like Fitzgibbon was. So I think it's good signs for the Doggies. Where do you reckon they'll finish?
I can see the Dogs finishing as high as fifth.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
What do you reckon like their floor is? Like if that's their ceiling, what's their floor? Where? Yeah.
11th.
Yeah, and like I was gonna say, like where's like the lowest you'd be happy with if you're a Dogs fan?
If I'm a Dogs fan, the
lowest
I'd be
they came 12th last year.
Lowest I'd be happy with is if I was a Dogs fan with the team they've got, I'm expecting them to make the 8. The least I'm expecting is 8.
Okay, fair enough.
Least I'd be happy with. I was going to say 9, but no, with the money they've spent, the team they've got, I'm expecting them to make the top 8.
Yeah, that's true. I think like what I've got them sitting between like 6th and 10th. I think like they definitely have the potential to make the lower half of the bottom 8. But I think like realistically they'll be probably at the top end of the bottom, like bottom 9 now. But yeah. So we'll move on to the Manly Warringah Seagulls. Their gains for their score, their key gains anyway, are Kelma Tuolangi, Cooper Johns, and Ben Condon. They've lost Andrew Davey, Kieran Foran, Marty Tapau, and Dylan Walker. Thoughts on Manly?
Geez, they haven't signed very well, have they? They've lost.
I mean, Tommy Turbo being fit for started season is a new signing, basically.
No, pretty much.
And Josh Schuster.
Yeah, Josh Schuster. That's an exciting prospect. Going to see him in the halves this year. That's Kieran Foran. Obviously he's a big loss. So is Dylan Walker. I think. I thought he brought a lot of energy to him last year. They're two pretty big losses. I can't see him doing too much with the season this year. They've kind of flown under everyone's radar, and I think for a reason. They're not a team. I'm excited to see Turbo back, but I just hope the poor bloke can stay injury prone for his sake, Manly
stay injury prone or injury free.
Stay injury free. Nah, fuck that guy. I hope he gets injured again.
Yeah, said no one ever. He's seems like such a nice dude.
I know. He looks like butter wouldn't melt in his mouth. He looks like a very nice bloke.
That's like so. Looking at their losses, they have lost actually quite a lot of squad experience. Like Foran, Tapau, and Walker. That's probably 500 games nearly of like first grade footy.
Yeah.
And as well, Anthony Seabold coming as coach. I honestly I think it might actually be a good thing for Manly. I know, like, shoot me, whatever, but because he's proven he's not a fantastic coach, but just some change in the Manly system. A lot of their boys there have only really played under Des Hasler, so they've sort of known that way of footy. I think just a bit of like they say change is good as a holiday. It might be a really good thing for them just to see a new coaching style and stuff. Like there's players coming out, Ruben Garrick, and I mean you're not going to sit there and bag your coach who's come in. Oh yeah, no, like Siebes is shit, but I mean like it's a bit rough. But they seem
unless you sell
excited. Yeah, like they seem excited by the prospect anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be nice for him to. Desi's been there for a long time. It'll be nice for him to get a bit of a change. Who's really to say what Anthony Seabold could do? Like he was great when he took over Souths, and then was terrible at the Bronx, and then he was with the Knights for a little bit in an advisory role.
Got over to rugby for a bit there too.
Did he? I didn't know that. yeah, obviously he's been on quite the journey. You know, I hope for his sake. I like to see everyone do well. I hope that he'll do something good with them. But I've got no clue. It's anyone's guess, really.
Yeah, I do think this is probably his last crack at a head coaching role in the NRL. So I think,
100%. He was lucky to get this. I think.
yeah, like I don't want to say he'd be desperate, but he'll be keen to prove himself too. So I think there's a lot of people in that club that have something to prove this year. So they could play a bit of a chip on their shoulder, but look, I think like even if Tommy Turbo is playing good footy, I still don't know if they make the finals. Like, I mean, obviously he's that good of a player that he can do it, but I don't think we'll ever see him as dominant as he was in 2021.
Yeah, it's hard. It's everything I say. I've got no fucking clue.
Yeah,
Um,
we got to watch him all play footy. That's it.
I
Like,
know if Tommy Turbo's there, he could do literally anything. I think he's that good a player. If he's not there, I can't see him making the top 8 at all.
yeah. But like in
Um,
saying that, like there's some players that I'm keen to see. Like, so as now, if he's not there, KO Weeks is a freak. Like
mhm.
he'll do a job at least. But like you got Josh Schuster, him and Ben Jaboyevich. I think Burbo will get that left edge spot. To
Yep.
be honest,
Burbo, is that what you're calling him?
yeah, Burbo, Gerbo, and Turbo,
Oh, that's rank.
all the Urbos, bro.
Burbo. Oh, that's chat.
But yeah, I think he'll get that left hand edge like back row spot, and him and Schuster, they could. Like, I'm actually excited to see how they go. They killed everyone in the juniors, on that like playing as combinations. So like they know their footy, like they know they know each other's games inside out. So I think they could actually go quite well, and it'll help Schuster assimilate to that role in the NRL as well.
That is one thing I am kind of looking forward to, seeing Schuster play in the halves. Obviously, he worked really hard during the off season to try and drop weight so that he could secure that half spot. So I'm really hoping to see his hard work pay off, and hoping that he has a good season.
That's it. I think like I know I've said it before, and I mean I'm about to say it again, but I think especially Manly have some decent halves there. Like KO Weeks can play 6. Cooper Johns looked pretty good in the trial. I mean, it was against Rabbitohs reserve grade, so but still, like he still like showed glimpses of like being quite good. But I still think Schuster is probably the best. Like, is the prototype for the modern day 13. The way it's heading and everything. Like, massive body, really good ball playing skills, solid defensively. I'd think like Jaboyevich look like his game is sort of more like the way he plays now is more sort of like suited to wearing the 8 or the 10. I would like to see Schuster have a go at 13, but look, what do I know?
Not much. Neither do I, though. So.
Couple just absolute shit talkers doing a podcast.
Yep.
So where do you see the Manly Warringah Seagulls finishing this season?
I could see him with Turbo. This is just trying with Turbo. I could see him finishing as high as 5th or 6th. Without him, I could see him finishing right down the bottom. I could see him finishing in 15th or something. But
yeah.
I'd say maybe they just sneak into the top 8 with Turbo.
Yeah,
that'd be my best guess. I could be completely wrong. I probably will be. I'm wrong about quite a lot of things. So,
I think with Manly, like they're probably like the prototypical side of what you'd call the swing side. Like they could have a season where they could be like pushing top 4, or they could be absolutely stinking it up. I think like I pretty much put them in the middle of that though. I think 10 to 13th is probably around where I see them, just because like they've just got a few injury prone players there. Like even like Taylor Cherry Evans isn't exactly young anymore, something like that. And if Lachlan goes down at 9, then you're putting in a really inexperienced player in Gordon Chinkum Tong in there. Like I love him. He's got one of the best rugby league names ever. He's a little bloke. He tackles his absolute heart out. Like I love him. But
that name's up there with Fui, eh?
Yeah. It's like, is he ready for a full year of first grade yet? I'm not quite sure. So there's a few question marks around Manly. That's why I've got him around that area.
Yep.
So let's move on to the best club in the competition, the St. George Illawarra Dragons. We have recruited unbelievably this offseason. We have brought in Jacob Little, Zane Musgrove, and Nick Tuiloso. How good? And our losses are Tarek Sims, Josh Maguire, and Andrew McCulloch. Let's just skip over this. Let's get past this as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I hate to say it, mate, but I can't see him doing real well. Like,
me either, mate.
I was excited because I was at the game on Saturday night between the Dragons and St. Helens. I was excited in what I saw with the young blokes, but that is looking down the track 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the track that blokes will be playing first grade. I can't see them making a ripple in the comp this year, unfortunately.
But if you have a look at our squad, like I'd call it top heavy. Like we've got good players in terms of like Ben Hunt, Jack DeBellin, Jack Bird, Jaden Zach Lomax. Like they're all quality players, but once you look past that, it just drops off a cliff. And it's like, yes, there's some up and coming players and like there's some good players in spots and that, but it's just like, man, it really, you're looking to go, oh God, okay, we're in some trouble.
Yeah, and there's also that drama probably caused a bit of disruption with Junior. Sloan was talking about he wanted to get out of there because he wasn't getting a crack at first grade towards the end of the year.
No, he's come out and said Anthony Griffin's a fantastic bloke. So whether that's just because he spent a week or so on Cobbo and thought this would be funny as fuck, or he actually thinks that, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah.
Yeah, obviously they're not going to have Cody Ramsey either, which is it a big loss? I don't know. Definitely poor bloke. He's going to miss out a whole. Like he's only young.
Yeah, he's lucky to be alive from everything I've heard.
Yeah, and he's got plenty of time. Yeah, definitely. Mate. I'm sorry, but I can't see him doing much at all.
So one thing, because I'm a Dragons fan, he could literally talk about us for hours. One thing I noticed in the trial is they swapped Sully and Lomax around, and Anthony Griffin's come out and said it's to shore up the defense. Bullshit. There's got nothing to do with the defense. If you have a look, okay, Zach Lomax is a better defender than Moses Sully, and Fiona is a better defender than Ravalawa. You've now put Sully and Ravalawa on the same side. There's literally no defense, just vibes on that side. Like it's got like our right side defense has got to leak so many tries this year. The reason why Zach Lomax moved to left center is 2 reasons I feel. Number one is left centers get more ball because everyone like prefers to pass right to left. So left centers get way more attacking ball. It's to get him more involved like in the attack. The second reason is his flick pass. He does it with his right hand. Can't really do that if he's on the left side. But my issue with it is Zach Lomax is the prototypical right-sided center. He carries the ball in his right hand. He has a right foot step, left foot palm. Like he's suited to the right. Like it just annoys me.
I have not looked into this anywhere near as close as you, so
I
can't offer much of a comment on it, mate. You go off, mate.
Let me talk. Let me just let him cook.
Go for it. Yeah, let him cook.
And then as well, like the Buddy Charity Shield lineup, Billy Burns is playing 13, which just makes me want to cry.
What's all your hate on Billy Burns?
He's awful, bro. Like dead set, I would prefer Toby Couchman, who I actually he impressed me so much. He killed it.
I love him. Both of them boys.
Yeah, like Toby especially last weekend played really, really good. Unfortunately, he got he didn't pass concussion protocols, which is why he's not playing this weekend. I was talking to his dad in the DMs today. Shout out you. But yeah, and then I would take both Couchman boys, Jackson Sheriff and Dylan Egan, before Billy Burns gets in my squad. He shouldn't be playing reserve grade.
Just staying on the Couchman boys for one thing. One of the trainers at Albion Park, he was with the SG ball side, and he reckons he said to the Couchman boys after their first training session, he said he had this thing where he'd let them do their session, right, and he didn't say a word to him. He just said, right, this is what we're doing. Wasn't nice to him, wasn't mean to him, wasn't nothing. Waited till the end of the session when they were all done. Sprayed the fuck out of all of them, said none of you will ever be NRL players. You are all fucking useless, so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Except he turned to the Couchman brothers and he goes, you are all right, but you need to quit trying to be NRL players and be Iron Men because apparently they can just run and run and run.
Just run and run and run. Yeah, right.
And that's a big rap from him because he doesn't rap no one.
Yeah.
He's mean. He's an angry, angry man.
So, bit of trauma dumping there, mate.
Nah, he's all right.
So predicted finish for the Dragons, and this is let's just get this done with.
Last.
Yep. Same. Okay, let's go on to the Brisbane Broncos. Their gains are Reece Walsh, Mighty Tapau, Jock Madden, and Tyson. This is one of the best names in rugby league. Tyson Smoothie. Losses, Tyson Gambler. So they swapped the Tyson for Tyson. every club needs a Tyson. Jermaine Asako, Tessie New, Tamade Martin, and Jake Turpin have left the club. What do you think about the Brisbane Broncos for this season?
Uh, yeah, I can see him potentially doing some good things. Reece Walsh,
Oh,
isn't
wait,
he?
just
Yeah.
quickly, how good did he look in the trial match? I don't know if you got to see much of that game, but he looked unreal. And those kicks he was doing, bro, that
Mm.
was like some freakish talent. I don't care. Oh yeah, it was wind and stuff. Yeah, but who else was doing that?
Yeah, no, yeah, they can definitely do some big things in the comp this year. They have had a few losses, like more losses than gains, but I
Hmm.
think Reece Walsh, especially now that he's back home, has a lot of potential to take his footy to another level. I think possibly earn a rep jersey this year, whether that's as a utility or something like that. Hey, can I just say, so I'm going a bit off track here,
You can.
but I've said I reckon in a few years down the line, that Queensland Origin spine is going to be the best looking spine in the history of any rugby league team this world has ever seen. Kalen Ponga at the back, Reece Walsh and Sam Walker in the halves with Harry Grant at hooker. Tell me that is not the best looking.
All right, let's go on an origin tangent because this is something I want to talk about too.
Okay.
You also got guys like in the hooking position. Reid Marnie is still there, who hasn't played Origin yet. Blake
Yep.
Moser, I don't know if you know much about him, but he's one of the best young nines coming through. Like he looks the goods. He's
Okay.
at the Broncos as well.
Yep.
But I think 3 to 4 years time, we will see the best and most competitive Origin that we've ever seen. I think we've got two states that have such a good crop of like players that like it's happening at the same time. Usually, like it sort of goes in peaks and troughs. Like in the early 2000s, like New South Wales dominated. They were so much better than Queensland. And then we obviously
Yeah.
let's not talk about the next 10 years after that. And then it was sort of New South Wales at the moment have like a better team, that sort of thing. But Queensland are playing with a lot of spirit and heart. But I think you look in like 3 or 4 years time, like what New South Wales spine's going to be either Turbo or Latrell or Pappy at fullback. 5'8" of Burton or Luai, halfback Nathan Cleary, hooker is going to
Or
be probably Reece Robson. Like
yeah,
it's
you got Nico Hines in there somewhere as
exactly,
well as a
exactly.
14. Like I think whoever the coach is will try and fit all those blokes in there. Like if you can fit all, like if you can fit all of them in there, like it'll be scary.
Yeah, and then you think even of like the 13s for each team, Paddy Carrigan, Cameron Murray, they're still so young. They've got another 10 years of rugby league. Then even outside
Uh,
backs, Suolii's got to play Origin somewhere in there.
mhm.
Josh Adokar isn't that old. Like Turbo's
Nah,
still going to be in there. Like Latrell, as I said, like one of those will play fullback, one of them play center. Like it's stupid. It's going to be in like 3 or 4 years time. Oh,
very exciting.
yeah. Okay, back to the Brisbane Broncos.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I forgot we were talking about that.
yeah.
Who gives a shit? I hate Brisbane. Nah, they're all right.
So Kevin Walters is reportedly signing an extension to 2025. What do you make of that? Like, there's a couple of players that have already come out and said he's not the best coach. There's like just, I think it's odd to re-sign him at this time. At least wait for like a bit of the season.
Yeah, that's exactly the word I was about to use. It is odd. I can't really understand what their logic is behind it.
Because he's
Especially
a good bloke.
before. Oh fuck! I'm a good bloke. What are you
Oh
gonna
yeah,
fucking? Are you gonna
depends who you
suck?
ask about that one, mate.
You know what I mean? It's just I don't know. It just seems strange. Like, where's the incentive to get? Obviously, he's got that drive to win. Blah blah blah, all that. But wouldn't you think you'd add that extra incentive by not re-signing him yet?
Yeah, I think like don't let him relax. Like, because what if
yeah.
the same thing happens last season? They sit in top four for ages and fall off a cliff. Do it like the old Dragons used to do.
Yeah, they looked
Then
so
you sit
good last year with Reynolds steering them around. I thought, holy shit, these Broncos have turned around. They look good, and then choke.
But like then you sit like if they do choke again, then you sit there, you look stupid because then you're probably going to sack him and pay him out like $2 million or something like that. But Ben Eichen doesn't seem like a very slow guy to me. Like he seems quite intelligent. I think there's obviously reasons behind it, and maybe it's got to be performance incentivized or something like that. And like I don't know, but to me, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, me either. I don't know. What do we know about though? So
Yeah, exactly. We said it before. We know nothing. But I think at
stupid.
least for the Broncos, like they have to make the top 8 this season. Like that has to be their expectation. There's no reason not to. Their squad has improved. and they were in the top 8. They're in the top 4 till 6 weeks to go last season. They have to make the top 8.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Anything less than the top 8 is unacceptable for them.
Yeah, so like my predicted finish, I've got them in the bottom 4 of the top 8, so 5th to 8th. What about you?
Yeah, same.
Yep, cool. All right, so let's talk about like this week's trials. Now, last week it was good to see footy back and everything, but this week is where like the trials heat up. Like you see, most of the squads, like they've named pretty strong teams. Most of the first graders going to be out there getting some combination. Kalen Ponga's back for your Knights. Like people like Ben Hunt and stuff are playing for the Dragons. Like exciting times. But let's go. So Friday night we've got the Knights versus the Eels, and then Roosters versus Manly. Saturday the Charity Shield, Dragons versus Rabbitohs, World Club Challenge, Panthers versus St Helens, and then that will be followed by a Queensland Derby, Broncos versus Cowboys. Then Sunday we got 4 games on Sunday again: Warriors versus Storm, Tigers versus Raiders, Dogs versus Sharks, and Dolphins fins up versus the Titans. Is there any games there that jump out at you that you're excited for? Obviously, Knights Eels.
Yeah, obviously excited for Knights Eels. The World Club Challenge too will be good to see. When watching St Helens on Saturday night, they came to play. Like they brought a good squad.
At the start, they looked really good.
Yeah, they didn't bring their reserve grade squad out here. Like, you know, they came to play. And I actually spoke to a bloke who was sitting in the grandstand next to me, and he said to me, he goes, "Oh, I just watched them warm up." And he goes, "Man, they warmed up hard. They were intense. They're not taking this lightly. They were there." So I'm really looking forward to a good clash with them and Penrith.
Just quickly, how good is James Roby? I reckon we've been robbed of one of the best NRL careers of all time there. He literally, like, just watching him play, I was like, bro, that's Cameron Smith.
He could have done so much in the NRL if he'd wanted to.
Yeah. But hey, like, full credit to him. He's still had an outstanding career.
That's like, not to take anything away from him.
No. Outrageous player. But yeah, for me, I think I'm keen, obviously, to watch the Charity Shield, see how the Dragons go, try and defend our crown. It won't go very well. But always, like, I'm just excited to watch the Dolphins play. They just really excite me. I don't know.
Oh, so am I. It's just cool to see like another team in there, and obviously, like, super excited to see Jack play in that. And it's I hope they do well. I'd love to see them do well, surprise everyone, and just they're just, I like them. I don't know what. I know they're a Queensland team. They're in Brisbane, and I'm supposed to hate them. Like I hate everyone else in Brisbane, but I really got a soft spot for them.
I'm going to go another quick rant about just journalism. Gordon Tallis coming out here saying, "Oh, Wayne Bennett should be around the club where the trials are." Like, bro, shut up, man. It's the trials. He is 73 years of age. Look, he could have busted his hip. Maybe he doesn't want people to know about that. And like, he's not going to be there after this year as a coach. Let Christian Wolf and Nathan Feen get some coaching experience in, man. Just fucking let him live.
Well, I've heard that he's done it the last few years. At Souths, he didn't go to the trials. And
Wayne works in weird ways.
Yeah, apparently he doesn't come to training before Christmas either. He lets the other boys, like, when the preseason starts. And guess what? He's Wayne fucking Bennett.
Yeah,
he does. The man does what he wants.
Gordy Tallis, he gave you your premiership ring, so shut the fuck up. And
put some respect on his name.
Another person I want to yell at is Buzz Rothfield coming out here.
I love
dissing on your boy, bro. Who cares if Kalen Ponga hasn't come out the media for 6 months? Oh yeah, his Knights captain or whatever. It's been the off season. Like,
is that Buzz Rothfield or Aaron Woods said something too?
Oh, Aaron Woods too, bro. Like, get out of my
Aaron
club.
Woods. Who are you, bro? Like, I don't want to go. I don't want to start hating on him, but
no, like, dead set. Can we just, like, man? Kalen
I'll hate on journalists all day, every day. But players like to hate on.
Aaron Woods is basically a journalist these days anyway. He does more off the field than on.
He's never done much on the field. There we go. I'll put shit on him.
Hey, fourth tackle hit ups. That's all he's ever done in his career. And his stats look really good. Yeah, because you take it anyway. Oh, just breathe. But yeah, like, Kalen Ponga. Okay, I get, like, you want your club captain out in the media and this and that, but he's had a pretty rough year, like a lot of head injuries and stuff. Like, he's had some stuff off the field as well. Like, mate, his best mate moved away from him. And, like, I know it was hard for you.
Is that what we're putting it back on the Connor Watson moving away?
Yeah, and I know it was hard for you when I moved away from home and everything. No, I'm kidding. But, like, and then it was just a lot of head noise around his life. And it's, I don't know. I'm on the player side for a lot of things. Just let
I,
him.
I don't understand what him and Kurt, man, what, you can't have a sword fight with your mates anymore in the
Yeah,
urinal? Like in
yeah.
the toilet cubicle, I mean. Like sometimes you
Just
just want to see who's stream stronger and there's nothing wrong with it.
just let the boys play, I reckon.
Yeah, let them play. They weren't even hurting you. If you're out in a pub carrying on, hurting people sitting about. If you're like and setting a bad example, that's fine to understand that. But if they're sneaking in and no one's seeing them and they're having a few actually, I'm not going to say what I was going to say because it's going to sound like I'm advocating for drug use. Anyway,
Okay, but all I'm going to say
I
is,
support my boy Kalen. Is all
do
I'm
you
saying.
think that Buzz Rothfield has never had a little bit of white powder in his life? There's no way. We've all seen that photo of you with that hooker, mate.
I was about to say
Yeah.
with the chick in the lingerie on his
Oh, come on,
on his
Buzz
lap.
Rothfield. You're no saint.
You bloody sleaze, you old scumbag.
Yeah. Anyway,
Paul done it, and Paul Kent too.
yeah. Look, Paul Kent's still salty. He played 1 minute of first grade in his whole life and could never do anything with himself. But hey, I play for Parramatta. No, everyone there hates ya. All right.
Everyone at Arimba hates you too.
Let's get on to some fan questions. We actually had
here we go.
heaps come in, which was really good to see. And I'm sorry if you didn't make it this week, but keep putting them in. We'll get there eventually. I'm gonna try my best to not recycle the same guys, but I've said there's a few people, a few followers out there that constantly hit me with some really good questions. So we'll get into it. The first one from Up the Dragons. I gave you a bit of time to research this one because
of course you've picked him. Up the Dragons.
but this is the question that you liked. Up the Dragons said, what former NRL player do you reckon would kill it in today's game? Dano, take the floor.
Okay. Little bit of a weird pick, I think, for me. Steve Roach, locker.
Okay. Interesting. Explain.
I will explain. I'm glad you asked. Steve Roach was not your typical 1980s, 1990s front rower. He had an offload. He had footwork for a big man. He's a character, which the game is sorely lacking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he would have done a lot. I think maybe bringing him on, because obviously back then they didn't have an interchange either. If you're off, you're off, as he famously was pulled off in that grand final.
Yeah.
I think he would have been a really good interchange forward. Bring him on around some, tight other front rowers, a big body, hit, spin, offload, tip on at the line. I think he would have done well. In
kind of like the role that they used Tavita Pangai Jr. in the 2021 season. I want to say when he was at Panthers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that kind of impact player.
Really well.
Yeah. I don't mind that. My player, it's probably a bit typical, but I think Ben Barber would be untouchable in today's game.
Yeah.
Talking about the 2021 season when Turbo was killing it. Imagine Ben Barber in those rules. He was freakish and had one of the best individual seasons we've ever seen in the wrestle era. Imagine in the open era, just where six to go all the time. I think he would torch defenses.
Yeah, I agree. That's a really good one. He would have been terrifying.
I want to just quickly talk about the opposite and a player that I think would do well in a different era. I think if you chucked Jake Trbojevic in the Manly team that won comps around that really good Manly team between 2007 and 2013, I think he'd go down as one of the best middles of all time.
Really?
I think him in that era would be unreal. Imagine him and Glenn Stewart playing in the same team.
Yeah, that's a scary thought. They would have done really well together. Yeah, that's a good point.
You get on to question 2 from my name is Chris. He says, is directed at me because I call the Doggies overhyped. Do you still think the Doggies are overhyped after Sunday's game against the Raiders? Look, there was glimpses of brilliance there, but I still got to see him. We spoke about it before. I still got to see everyone playing together, and against other teams. It was. I hate to say it. It was against Raiders reserve grade. There's probably 3 or 4 actual guys that are going to play more than 5 or 6 games for them this year. What do you think about the Doggies? Do you still think they're a bit overhyped?
At the end of the day, it's a trial game. And you can't. I've always gone by the thing of you can judge players' individual form off trial games. You can't judge the team's form off trial games because there's so many interchanges, so many different players that aren't going to be playing against weird things. So, I don't know if I agree with you that they're overhyped. I think they're correctly hyped.
Okay.
So I'm going to disagree with you, mate. Sorry.
That's all right.
But yeah, no, I didn't think they were overhyped to begin with. So you can answer that question.
We'll get on to Mr. Tobby's question. And I think this might have to end up becoming a little segment we do on this podcast. Start, bench, cut. This is so hard, this one.
Are we going to shout out Clarkey for this? Is he going to sue us?
Okay, Clarky, here you go. Because you're the first bloke ever to do start bench cut. We'll give you we'll give you your flowers, Clarky. Good on you. Let's
Yeah.
go. Start bench cut. Matt Burton,
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Brown, and Jerome Luai. Good luck, my friend.
Okay. Matt Burton, Dylan Brown, Jerome Luai.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to. Oh fuck! You sprung
Wait,
something quick.
wait.
Shit.
It's so hard, eh? Like I've been sitting here thinking
Yeah.
about it all day, and I still can't decide.
All right, and you've sprung it on me now. Yeah, mate.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to start Burton.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to. Oh, the other two are real similar players, though. I
Yeah.
could take either. Because I want Burton's a little bit more of a controlling, dominating sort of half. So I want him on there to start and get the game off to a good start, and then I want to bring one of these two blokes on here to sort of do some creative stuff around some tied foot. Oh, it's a toss of a coin there. Both rep players, one for New South Wales and Samoa, the other one for New Zealand. Let's take Daddy. I'll take
I think you have
take
to.
Jerome Luai. Yeah.
I think at this point of their careers, like I don't think if you put Dylan Brown in that like Samoa team in the World Cup, I don't think they're making the final. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, Jerome Luai really took that side on his back, and he compliments Nathan. Obviously, he's got playing with Nathan Cleary, but I think he really took that as an opportunity to stand up playing for Samoa. So good on him.
But like dead set, like if you had that, you can have that any three which ways, and I'd be like, yeah,
yeah.
I see that. That's cool. Like that's such a good start bench cut. So Mr. Toby, shout out to you. That was unreal, Mr. Toby. Sorry, bro. Let's get on to the fourth question. I pretty much already answered this. Thoughts on Dragons switching centers around for their defense? Like, I mean, I've already answered my. Like, do you want to give a quick thought on that, or do you agree with me?
Yeah, I don't really give a shit about the Dragons, so I'll agree with you.
Okay, well, Balin, if you listen to the Dragons part of the podcast, you'll understand. Like, you'll know what I said. So let's get on to Taslim 700. He's been a massive supporter recently as well. So shout out to him. Broncos fan though, so you poor bastard. But he says, which club do you think is under the most pressure heading into 2022?
Ooh, which club is under the most pressure?
If you want to buy some time, I can answer first.
No, I think Parramatta comes to mind.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think teams only get a small premiership window, which is premierships are hard to come by. So it only happens every couple of years, sometimes only every few decades that a team gets in a position where they can win the grand final. And I think Parramatta's real chance was last year. And I think if they don't win the comp this year, then I don't think they're going to win it for another 40 odd years. So I actually think they're under a lot of pressure.
That is true. And that, to be honest, they didn't look fantastic in the trial match. I know it's like, and they had a fair few first graders in there. Like they had Sean Lane and Ryan Madison didn't really do much, which you'd expect them to do against Panthers reserve grade. Josh Hodgson looked pretty shaky. I mean, it's his first game of football in 12 months. So like you can forgive him, but it was like, oh, I don't know. But
he's
when you look how good Reid Marnie played, like man,
that's the thing. Their premiership window is closing fast.
Oh yeah,
and if they do not win it this year, then which I can't really see them doing. I don't want to say their premiership window's already closed, but
look, a tough way closed. It's the window is sliding down.
It's like the hinges are broken.
So the team that I think is probably under the most pressure, honestly, is the Sydney Roosters.
Oh, okay.
I think they are under a lot. Like, there's a lot of expectations that they're going to win the comp this season. And I think rightfully so.
And rightly so. Yeah,
they've probably got like them and Penrith have the best squads in the comp. I don't think there's anyone arguing that. It's now or never for them. Like, I think the last couple of years has been the same expectations, and they just haven't lived up to it. I mean, they did have a lot of injuries in 2021 and sort of the same thing last season, but you've got to overcome that in a rugby league season if you want to win the comp. It's just as simple as that. Like, yes, sometimes you get lucky and you get away with injury, like not having injuries and stuff. But look, if they're as good as they say they are as a club and the next up mentality, then I don't think there's any excuse this year. I don't see any excuses for them. Like, they gelled well the end of last year. The halves finally clicked together, so that's not a reason excuse this year. Brandon Smith shouldn't be. He's such a good player that it shouldn't take those guys long at all to gel.
Yeah.
I suppose that like there's rumors that Joey Mine is going to play a new role, sort of that floating fullback kind of thing that Turbo did in Origin. And again, their team is that good that should just boost them rather than I think they are under pressure. It's like a comp or bust for them. I think like that's their expectation. If there's anything other than a premiership win for them, it's not a successful season.
Yeah, and that's what I think. They don't. It's been long enough now. They don't have that excuse that they don't have that. They're not going to have that hangover from losing the experienced blokes like Kronk and Cordner and Friend and that. Like they've got Teddy still there, and I think it's been long enough now that they should have readjusted and they should be able to get on with it. And yeah, 100%. They have got the team to win the comp, at least make a grand final, in my
Exactly
opinion.
right. And like I honestly think that the Penrith Panthers this year have no expectations whatsoever. A team hasn't gone 3 in a row since Para in the early 1980s.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
like, obviously they got the best team in the comp, but I don't know. I feel like they're just like everyone's coming for them, and like, they feel like they've got a chip on their shoulder and stuff. But I think overall, like, I'd probably put more pressure on the Roosters to do something than Penrith.
Yeah, I don't think Penrith have any pressure at all. Like no one expects them to win 3 in a row. Then again, no one would be surprised if they win 3 in a row.
Exactly. It's just like they're the best team in the comp. People got to run them down.
Yeah, people just don't really care. They're like, yeah, you're good. Like, peace off. I'm sick of hearing about you.
Yeah. All right. So we're getting to the last question of from the fans for this week, and this one I just wanted to touch on it because I just love how like much rugby league fans overreact to things as soon as they see it. I don't know. Did
Yep.
you watch much of the Dolphins Cowboys trial game from last weekend?
I did not. I saw the highlights. And I read a little bit about it, but I didn't get to see the whole game.
That's right. So you still would have heard about this bloke. So from Nathan, I don't know, Reese Stucker, I suppose. I don't know. Sorry, bro. He
Racist.
says, oh, he's got a number in his username, right? He says, "Do you see Tom Duffy becoming top 3 halfbacks in the next few years?" And he was the guy that came in and played 7 for the Cowboys. Now, look, he played good, but let's just calm down a little bit. Like he's like 21, he hasn't played NRL, he's barely even played Q Cup. Chad Townsend is still gonna be there for the next couple of years. Let's just relax a little bit.
Yeah, especially looking at the blokes that are in the NRL at the moment. Like, so what? He's got to be up there with there's obviously Cleary, Hines,
Mitch
still got
Moses,
Taylor Cherry Evans, Mitchell Moses,
Ben Hunt, Sam
Ben
Walker,
Hunt, Sam Walker, even blokes like Jackson Hastings,
Jerome Hughes.
Jerome Hughes. That was the other one I was thinking of. Yeah, like, come on, mate, top 3. Like, unless this kid does something.
And like, look, he did look good. It looks like he's got like a lot of potential, but top 3, bro. I don't know. Like maybe he become a top halfback in the game. Sure, you've got to be top 16 to be a top halfback in the game. Like,
yeah,
that's just as simple as that. But like, I think I said it the other day in the video I released. I said like, I think he's the perfect replacement for Chad Townsend because he gets a couple more years in Q Cup to learn his craft off a premiership winning halfback in Townsend. Like, get some more experienced. And like,
it's good to have him there because Chad Townsend is aging as well. So it's nice to have that backup there.
Exactly. And I think like, by the time he comes into the league, he'll have a more mature head and it would have seen a lot more footy. Like he's probably going to have an extra 50, 60 games of like grade men's footy under his belt. So I think just give him time, please.
Yeah.
Like stop. Like we see these guys play one good game of footy and obviously he's probably been doing this for years, but let's just come back a little bit.
Yeah. Let's not put the hoodoo on him, mate. Let's let him go. Let's let his game.
Yeah, let's just let him.
Pace.
Yes, exactly right. So that I think will do us for another week of the Trademark Sports podcast. Remember, join our tipping comp over on ESPN Footy Tips. Look up Trademark Sports. Yeah. Anything you want to say, Dana, before we head off?
No.
Fantastic. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Goodbye.